Peace, love, and blessings, fam. Johnny Sally here for day 19 of Wisdom of the Ages by Wayne W. Dyer. If you have missed the previous recordings, you can catch them on YouTube at Loyalty Life Legacy LLC. Loyalty Life, spelled Lyfe, Legacy LLC on YouTube. Let's get into it. Humility. Solitude. Happy the man whose wish and care a few paternal acres bound, content to breathe his native air in his own ground. Whose herds with milk, whose fields with bread, whose flocks supply him with attire, whose trees in summer yield him shade, in winter fire. Blessed who can unconcernedly find hours, days, and years slide soft away, in health of body, peace of mind, quiet by day. Sound sleep by night, study and ease, together mixed, sweet recreation, and innocence which most does please, with meditation. Thus let me live, unseen, unknown, thus unlamented let me die, still from the world, and not a stone, tell where I lie. Alexander Pope. English poet and satirist Alexander Pope was the literary dictator of his age and regarded as the epitome of English neoclassicism. At first, reading this very famous poem by Alexander Pope appears to be exclusively about the importance of finding peace and quiet as a prerequisite to happiness. And indeed, this is a theme not only of this poem, but of much of the work of this early 18th century poet who lived in Windsor Forest outside London. He had a curvature of the spine and a tubercular infection that limited his height to 4 feet 6 inches, and he suffered severe headaches throughout his life. His deformity and illness made him particularly sensitive to physical and mental pain, and therefore the solitude of nature and the ability to be self-sufficient away from the noise and mayhem of the crowds was a subject of his poetry. Our late 20th century natural world is vastly different from the one Pope was born in 300 years ago, making his poetic advice even more significant for us today. Content to breathe his native air in his own ground. In today's world, often means eyes burning from the smog of our cities, inhaling noxious fumes and breathing in pollutants. Those of us who can feel self-sufficient by milking our herds and fleecing our sheep and warming our bodies from the trees on our property when they are not providing shade are few and far between. Furthermore, mighty few of us are blessed who can unconcernedly find hours, days, and years sliding soft away with health of body, peace of mind, quiet by day. Instead, we experience increasingly levels of physical deterioration because of environmental illnesses, higher and higher levels of stress, and a noisy world of all manner of landscaping, power motors, portable leaf blowers, bulldozers, jackhammers, trucks, and sirens bombarding our senses. Pope's nearly 300-year-old poetic advice is certainly pertinent in today's world. The first 3 verses of this poem refer to the need to breathe clean air, find sufficiency in nature, and enjoy some solitude and quiet during the day. I encourage you to do all that you can to bring these elements into your life, regardless of where you reside. Take the time to get out of the city and be in nature where bliss awaits you in quiet places. In the 4th stanza, Pope poetically describes how to enjoy sound sleep by mixing together recreation with innocence and meditation. I have written elsewhere in this book on the importance of daily meditation, so I will not repeat that here. But some of the remaining ingredients for a happy life: study, ease, recreation, and innocence are a mix of perennially good advice for any era. When I give myself the freedom to study subjects of interest, time to ease myself out of pressure, play tennis, swim, or run during the day, I know the childlike innocence that does most please, particularly as it melds with meditation. These four stanzas of solitude, Alexander Pope's most famous early poem, before the Grape of the Lock, provided a smorgasbord of ingredients for happiness. They represent a call to commune in a natural and stress-free environment as possible. I encourage you to heed his poetic counsel, no matter how urban, crowded, or noisy your daily life might be. I personally find myself repeatedly drawn to the final stanza of this poem. Thus, let me live unseen, unknown. I have had the rare privilege to be in the presence of some divine beings and avatars. My most lasting impression of these highly evolved people is that they have subdued their egos and live as silent sages, unwilling to bask in the halo light of their own divinity. They have literally chosen to disappear as physical beings. They seek no credit for their great gifts. In fact, they attribute them all to the divine creator of all. When St. Francis of Assisi, the great healer of the 13th century, was asked why he didn't heal his own sickly body, he responded that he wanted everyone to know that it was not he who was doing the healing. For me, the measure of greatness and happiness is the ability to subjugate ego to the point of needing no credit for accomplishments, to be beyond needing gratitude or applause, to be independent of the good opinion of others, to just be doing what I do because it is my purpose to do so. The spirit of what I truly mean to be impeccable or magnificent, to learn to give anonymously and resist the temptation to be praised, is beautifully expressed in the classic film Magnificent Obsession. Once we stop needing glory, we experience a new kind of freedom. As the poet says, thus unlamented, let me die. Steal from the world, and not a stone tell where I lie. I have felt this in the presence of true greatness. It's a kind of humility that I imagine Yeshua of Nazareth, Buddha, and Lao Tzu exuded. When I sat before Mother Mira, a divine teacher from India who resides in Germany, and gazed into her divine eyes, she was so egoless as to reach me without words, and I truly felt as if she needed no recognition now or ever for her incredible spirituality. When Carlos Castaneda wrote of his association with the Nagas, the great spiritual teachers, he was intrigued by their anonymity and humility. These were ordinary appearing beings possessing extraordinary awareness, living profoundly yet humbly, ever present but almost invisible. These are the paradoxical qualities that I read into the concluding stanzas of Alexander Pope's poem. Learn to live unseen and unknown, free of the need to be noticed. Do what you do because you feel guided, and retreat in dignity and peace. My first physical contact with my contemporary teacher, Guruji, involved complete silence that lasted for almost an hour. Words were unnecessary. I was given a manifesting meditation to teach, yet he has never mentioned wanting credit for it. The greatest teachers are aware of the need to maintain anonymity and humility. No one summed this idea up better than the ancient Chinese teacher Lao Tzu, who has a chapter dedicated to him in this book. He reminds us, all streams flow to the ocean because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it power. I'm going to say that again. All streams flow to the ocean because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. To apply the wisdom of Alexander Pope's poem, Solitude, I suggest you consider these ideas. Take time out of your day for periods of solitude to do nothing more than be silent. Subdue the stringent noises of your life by playing soft classical music in the background of your home or business if possible. The Mozart effect creates a sense of balance and peace that literally increases productivity and decreases stress. Give yourself extended time to be in nature, listening to the sounds of animals and birds, wind and surf, and to breathe in the non-polluted air slowly and deeply. Wilderness time is great therapy for rejuvenating yourself. Take a yoga class or use a video that teaches you how to begin exercises for bringing your body into harmony. Make yoga a regular part of your day. Practice giving anonymously to anyone in need, not asking for praise. Make this your magnificent obsession. I encourage you to see both Magnificent Obsession and Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon, which is the story of Saint Francis and his transformation into a humble giving spirit in the 13th century. Remember Henry David Thoreau's metaphysical description, which sums up the essential message of solitude. Humility, like darkness, reveals the heavenly light. To be humble is a beautiful thing, and it is much greater than being humbled. There is a very divine blessing when you yourself learn to be humble, opposed to having to have something happen to you that sits your behind down. We don't always need credit for everything. I've experienced many times where the things that I've done have gone unnoticed by the masses. There's a lot that me and my friends, my community have done that we didn't do for the credit. We did it for the sake of it needing to be done. Now, in the past, we were understanding the world that we live in, so we would post it on social media. And there were people that would literally like comment on their page. They wouldn't come on our page. And they'd be like, I don't understand why people gotta give and show it off to the world. Well, depending on the type of structure of your organization, in some cases we do it so that we create a visual track record of what was done. Now, that doesn't compare to the things that have been done that aren't recorded or shown on social media. When it comes to certain levels of spirituality that tie into that, humility and not having the need to be seen is very integral. Because when you start to move in a different light, when you start to operate completely outside the realm of social construct and what is believed to be possible, you drastically need your privacy and solitude. Because the ABC people will come and look for you to find out why you're able to bless people the way you are. It's a sad world, isn't it? So, the peaceful life is the safe life. And I pray that you learn to live as safe a life as possible, not only for yourself, but for others around you who care about you and love you. And to my spiritual brothers and sisters, I appreciate you. For those who are more advanced than I am, I thank you. I understand why you need time to yourself from time to time, because this world can be heavy. I've already expressed many times that I feel like Mother Terra, planet Earth, is an open air mental health facility. There are so many of us here as earthling humans that have come from a spiritual realm that are so disconnected and overran by darkness that mental issues begin to become very prevalent and accepted as the norm. So, take time to yourself to not only separate from the foolishness and be in the world but not of the world, but also so that you can figure out whatever you need to about yourself. You can take care of yourself. You can understand yourself and begin to heal yourself and apply that healing to every aspect in your life so that when your light shines, it also affects and promotes the healing of others. I thank you for being here today, more so for yourself than anything. I ask that you walk in love, walk in light, walk in peace, and know that you are loved.